Welcome to the Cast, where we interview some of the most influential people in tourism from around the world. My name is Graham Watson, and I'm the founder of Kuza Global. The word Kuza means a new dawn, and in 2023, we want to find out just how our guests are working towards that new dawn. Join us and subscribe to future episodes as we hope to inspire you with stories of strength and resilience in the tourism industry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Kuza Cast. Today, I am talking to none other than my brother, Mr. Kevin Watson, who is the Chief Operating Officer of the First Equity Group and also a director of SATIB, the tourism insurance brokers that is a division of First Equity Group. Kevin, welcome to Kuza Cast.
Thank you.
Kevin, obviously we've known each other all my life, but for the benefit of the listeners, can you just give them a brief overview of history, your work experience, and how you ended up working in the tourism field through SATIB?
Yeah, so I qualified as a chartered accountant in the 90s and spent a bit of time overseas in the UK, the States, and Switzerland. And there I worked on a few mixed-use developments, which would be building hotels. So it was coming from the development side of things. In the mid-2000s, I came back to South Africa, and with that tourism-type link, worked for a company called IFA Hotels and Resorts, which was also developing and running hotels. Some of the most famous is probably the Zimbali property. And then SATIB Insurance Brokers was looking for a financial director to come in there and take it from what was a family business to something bigger. And it seemed like a good opportunity at the time. The guys that had offered me the position I'd known from school days. So that's how I kind of transitioned from the development side of hotels into and running, or managing them from a sort of financial perspective to moving into the insuring of these properties. Which is what we do at SATIB Insurance Brokers.
What is obviously the last 3 years in particular have seen a lot of businesses closing down, and hopefully we are now seeing a resurgence as we head into 2023 of businesses in tourism. So when all this started 3 years ago up until now, what do you think the biggest challenge that SATIB has faced during the pandemic?
Well, I think SATIB obviously within a couple of months had lost about 30% of its clients and revenue, mainly because of clients either shutting down or drastically reducing their insurance coverage. So that obviously impacts our revenue, which meant that we had to retrench staff, reduce salaries, and restructure. And I think things are slowly recovering now. We're expecting 2023 to be back to where 2019 was. So in other words, back to pre-COVID levels. So we've lost 3 years worth of revenue growth. But, we've managed to drastically readjust our cost base. So I think that's a lot of businesses, that they were forced to rethink how they did things. The big word was pivot in those days, and how you're going to pivot your business to do things differently. We probably have half the amount of office space that we did back then, office space being our second biggest cost. So, and obviously staff, we're trying to do things quicker, better, more efficiently, so that we need less people to do it. So we've been forced to think about how to do things differently, which I think most businesses have had to do in some way or other.
Yeah. So as we head into the new year, and I think everyone's holding out a lot of hope that 2023 is the year of recovery for a lot of businesses. Everyone's been holding out by a thin thread for the last 3 years, and everyone's, really, really holding out a lot of hope for 2023. What do you think? What do you see in the industry, not just in tourism, but in business as a whole? What do you think businesses still need to do to kind of ramp up effort? Or do you think everyone's kind of on the right track? Or, is there one thing that you can, or a few things that you can think of that perhaps still need to be done to kind of speed up the change?
Yeah, well, I think
speed up the recovery.
You've got to start with staff, and I think the general staff have been through as much, if not more, pain than the owners of businesses. So the owners have got some control really, where the employees are really at the whim of the owners. So I think employees have gone through a traumatic phase over the last 3 years. So to the extent that businesses can look after their staff, their team, they should find ways to do so. And it doesn't always have to be about money. So I think that would be the focus. And then, as you look after your staff, they're happier. They look after clients. Clients talk to other clients. You get more referrals. So I think it's just the age-old maxim of looking after your staff first to wow your clients, who are going to then go and tell their friends and grow your business in that way. I don't think there's any magic bullet. I don't think spending millions on advertising or sales necessarily is the answer, but definitely you have to have that as part of the mix. But I would just start off with trying to get your team on side and figuring it out together.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, obviously, everybody kind of just needs. It's been a tough 3 years. I think there's a lot of business and personal debt still around. So happy to hear that you're focusing on the people that make up the company and motivation and getting the team in the right headspace and providing for what they need to head into the new year. So just on like a business basis from you personally, like what do you like? What is your daily routine? What do you consider your most productive time of the day, do you think?
Well, I think it's the same for everybody. If you can get in your thinking work before 9 o'clock, before everybody starts to get into the office, or before you start your conference calls, that's probably a good time to do it. It's not always easy if you're having to take kids to school and you want to try and exercise and all of that good stuff. But the more hours you can put in before 9 o'clock in the morning certainly works for me. And yeah, that would be my advice if you can do it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Especially living in South Africa, where in summertime it's great. You can head down to the beach at 5 o'clock in the morning if you want. And yeah, that's certainly something I'm trying to do is wake up a lot earlier. So by the time the business day starts, you've actually accomplished quite a lot. I actually love there's quite a famous video online. It's called the Navy SEAL giving a lecture to a bunch of university students about the importance of just making your bed, and that's always stuck with me. In fact, I showed it to my daughter, your niece, today because it just stuck with me. And he talks about little tasks, little accomplishments all day, and if you can start your day just by making your bed, and that's then you know that you've done that one small task, and that leads to another task and leads to another task, and it's just all about that feeling of accomplishment. And even if you've really had a miserable day, you come home to a bed that's made and waiting for you. So it's all about trying to get that time in the morning and just getting through task by task and looking at it that way. Is there any tool? I mean, obviously there's a lot of software, particularly in the mobile working, remote working sphere, that has come to the fore in the last 3 years. Is there any particular tool or app that you find is very productive, even if it's a personal app like Audible or something like any particularly business related app or productivity tool that you recommend, that you use often?
I think what's worked for me is an app called Asana. So it's either as an app on your phone or a website, which basically collects your actions from all over the place. So, I mean, in our group, we've probably got about 15 companies, and I go to most of those board meetings, and from those, there's a number of actions that I need to take, plus meetings with staff and other meetings. And to keep all your actions in one place is kind of difficult. So we've taken the step to all of our minutes of our meetings are recorded on Asana. It gets linked to a person, whoever that action is. I can then go in there and I can check all my actions from all around. It pops up on what dates I need to do things. It notifies people once I've done them. And vice versa with my team. If they need to get something done for me, it kind of notifies me that it's been done, etc. So we're getting more and more into the depth of what the software can offer. But even what we've experienced so far has, I think, revolutionized the way we do things. Definitely made things more productive. Then I suppose the next one would be Power BI. Being able to take all your data and arrange it into the reporting that you want to see, and that's basically once it's set up, it's at the flick of a switch, so to speak. So you can keep tabs on your business and what's moving hourly if you need to. So those two things have really changed the way we do things. And in the past we would have people that would have to do that kind of stuff for us, and now we don't, because we've got software that does it.
Yeah, that's so Asana and Power BI. That's really good. Yeah, there's a lot of tools that have come out that I think definitely are helping a lot of people get to where they need to be. So, what piece of advice do you think you could give someone who's kind of just starting out? Not just in tourism, but also in business. Obviously, you've been through your ups and downs in your career. There's a lot of young folk that I've met all over Africa this year, and everyone's trying to pick up the pieces. What kind of piece of advice could you give somebody that's trying to just get their first foot on the ladder of business at the moment?
Well, if you're talking about from an entrepreneur perspective, I would think that you'd have to make sure that whatever you're offering is unique enough to get people to notice it. You've got to, be honest with yourself whether you're going to be able to afford to get the message out or have the time to at least get the message out. And if you believe that the product is something that people need and there's a market, and you're willing to put the effort in to get the story told, then I think it's just a matter of time. So you have to invest the time, but you've got to make sure that you've got something that people want to buy. And then from a career perspective, I suppose those that are listening that aren't necessarily at the point of wanting to become an entrepreneur, I think from a career perspective, you just need to keep at it as well. You need to show the people above you that you're keen to learn and grow and move up the ladder. You need to make sure that you put in the effort, the time, keep studying, keep learning new things, so that people know that you are a potential leader one day.
Yeah, well, that's great advice for anybody coming through the ranks at starting. It's all about, I think, motivation and having that never give up spirit, and as you say, just having all those things, what people want, what people need, and having a good mentor. I think a lot of people lack that kind of guiding figure from somebody that's been in the business for a long time. So it's always good to seek out that one person that can sort of help you and guide you along the way. I think that's about it, Kevin. So we don't want to. We could go on forever, but I just think we're trying to get a quick overview of who you are and what you think and how you think recovery can take place in 2023. So thank you very much, Kevin Watson, the COO of First Equity Group, which incorporates SATIB insurance brokers. And how can, if anyone's listening that wants to find out more about insuring their tourism business, what's the best way to get in touch with SATIB?
Well, it's probably go to the website, www.satib.coza. And that you'll go to the info page and someone will get back to you. I think we've obviously got branches throughout Africa as well. So if you're interested, go onto the website and someone will get back to you.
That's great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And hope you keep listening to the CruiserCast. And thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Until next time, this is Graham Watson talking to Kevin Watson on CruiserCast. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, bye. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed the conversation, then please subscribe, leave us a great review, and even check out our Patreon page. Until next time, I'm Graham Watson, and thanks for listening to the CruiserCast.